Ladies and gentlemen, what you are about to hear is Lights Out Everybody Until Dead from 1943. I was originally under the impression that Lights Out Until Dead was no longer under copyright, but I honestly can no longer be sure. So I don't know if this will go in my collection or not, but I'm adding some white noise just in case.
Ionized yeast presents life.
What's up, Art?
Out everybody. It is later than you think. Lights Out brings you stories of the supernatural and the supernormal, dramatizing the fantasies and the terrors of the unknown. We tell you this frankly, so if you wish to avoid the excitement and tension of these imaginative plays, we urge you calmly but sincerely, turn off your radio now. This is our Joe voice. He walks the earth, the little man. You look at him and say, what can you do? But then comes war and barbarism threatens his own home, and suddenly the little man towers over the earth, a figure of vengeance. This, too, tonight is a story of vengeance. But before we begin, Father Stevenson wants to ask you a question. Those days end find you so worn out and all in that you can't enjoy the evening. Are you so jittery and underweight and under par that you're losing out in your work and in your fun? Remember the name, Ionized Yeast Tablet. And now, Lights Out Everybody. You've got 10 minutes with him, Counselor. I know. Oh, Rogan, I understand you want to see me. Sit down, Counselor. I'm very busy, you understand? Yes. What's on your mind? There's always a chance, you know. The jury's been out 3 hours. What's the matter with the jury? Get me a knife. Huh? Get me a knife. A knife? You're insane. A knife. Get me one. But why? You've got a chance. My final summation, the jury might deadlock. Yes, deadlock. You gotta listen to me. When the jury comes in, he'll be there, sure. He? Mark Street. Oh, him. Still don't believe. Oh, but I do. Definitely believe that an individual by that name doesn't exist. He killed my wife. What's the evidence? He killed my wife. You hear me? He killed my wife. Yes, I know. No, you listen to me. You listen to me. For days you've been out there in that courtroom talking words. Words, high-sounding legal words. All the time you won't believe the word I told you. All the time back in that mug of yours, you've been thinking, yeah, he killed her. I killed her. But the thing that ever came into a man's life, and I want you to never get it out of me. Doreen was my wife. She helped me and loved me. Guy come along who couldn't stand her being happy. With a look at Marie in that rat mind, he must have said to himself, "Okay, beautiful, I'm gonna get you. How and when I don't know, but someday, beautiful, someday." That's what he said. And that's what he did. Why? Well, then he came over. Sure, he got to be my friend. He came over and when Marie told him I was working right down at the plant, he said he'd wait for me. Business. Business of hell. What? Oh, how can I tell you? It's only focused in my head and then goes in my head. I hear a dancing. Fighting again. Fighting. I don't hear any fighting. He must have clawed at his eyes. He left knife in his hand. He stabbed her once. And again, for the third time. When he got home, she drank the whip with just 2 words. His name. When she was dead. And he killed her. He'd find me so I'd take the rat me that loved her. Mark Street. He did it. You hear me, Mark Street? But no place for the man. He'll come back. He'll come back now to hear that jury speak his piece. He'll come back. I know he will. That'll be my chance to get him. Get me that knife. But Matt, my knife, I've got that. He'll be there. I can give it to him once, twice, 3 times the way he did to her in his face and his neck and his dirty heart. That's the way she's dead. His blood wiping out what he did to him. Knife? Get me a knife. Order in the courtroom. Order in the courtroom. Dennis will clear the courtroom unless order is immediately restored.
You got it. Tonight, everything's going to be all right. Sure. You think I really... Well, I mean, a man in my position didn't bring it. How could I? A wild story about revenge against a man nobody knows double-crossed the knife.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have you reached the verdict?
We have, Your Honor.
You will read the verdict.
We, the jury, find that the defendant is charged in the indictment guilty of murder in the first degree.
There's no rise and take the blood.
It's talking to you, Mac. What?
There's no rise.
Get up, Rogue. Mark Street. You're here. I know it.
Max, Logan, have you anything to say before sentence is passed upon you?
I see you. Mark Street, he's here. Here. Mark Street. Come here. I see you. I'll get you now. Oh, he's here. Mark Street, I've got to get him again. He's friendly. Get you out of it. Go home. You better get away from here. I got him. Mark Street, listen to me. I'll get you. I tell you, I'll get you like you got hurt. 3 times. What's across your face and what's for the nose? What are you on? I'll get you, Mark Street. I swear, I'll get you.
I'm asking you as a particular favor to me, Logan, to behave yourself.
Yeah.
Well, every man in this cell block is a condemned man. Services just make it harder for everyone concerned.
I ain't gonna be with you long, Warden.
Hey, 2 weeks yet, my boy.
I'm not throwing out that way.
Oh. Escape, eh?
I'm just telling you not to come too much on swinging that trap.
Don't try it, Logan. No man's ever escaped from the death house in this penitentiary. And no man ever will.
Yeah.
Huh? This is it, Logan.
Yeah, I would.
Well, hello, Rico. Sir, open the cell door. In here, Logan.
What's the matter, Warden? The hotel getting crowded, so you gotta give me a roommate?
Now behave yourselves, men. I don't want any trouble.
Yeah, sure, Warden. You don't make any trouble.
I hope not. You ready?
Warden, like a school teacher. Hi, Rogan. How do you know my name? Yeah, there ain't much going on around here Rico Bartelli don't know. Yes? Yeah. You want to know? How do you get out of here? Well, there's 2 ways. One through that door where you just came in with the warden. The other through that green door down there at the other end. That's a funny door. It only opens up one way. And it's gonna hang you. Other guys say that's what they feed the worms just to say. I ain't get you out of here. Well, easy just to talk. I gotta get out. Why? Because you crazy? Well, never mind. To me, it don't make no difference just so long as you help me. I told you Rico about telling those lots of things. Listen to this. I know where to crack this place. You just talk out guy in my spot, don't just talk, my friend. You ain't got time to talk. They think they're gonna hang me 2 days from now. Oh. Yeah, that's why when I say something, I mean it. You too. That's fair, listen. It's already 4 o'clock. So me and you out in the room down there at the call an exercise room. We're supposed to walk up and down and get exercise, so we'll feel good when they stretch our necks. Hold you and me in the exercise room for 10 minutes. No guard. They figure it's all right. The room ain't got nothing in it, no windows. The guard locks it up from the outside. And how do you start trying to tell you? The room is nothing. Bare wall. Dead wall. And on the floor, there's one iron toilet leading down to the sewer that runs into the Spencer River. Sure. You do like I say, and we'll see you pretty quick. This water, how deep is my arm? No. Doesn't make any difference. I can swim in it. Yeah, not in this water, my friend. Why not? How far is it from where we get us to the river? Well, I can swim it doesn't have not in this water. Why not? Tell me why not.
Hey, you guys, I got.
Okay, Drew. Got it. Tell me, why not? Because, my friend, after the pipe that's under the exercise room goes a little way, it joins the main pipe. Well, and then the main so there's no room to swim. The pipe's filled to the top of the water. So swim it anywhere and brings what? The water? Gotta get out. Sure, you've done that before. But you ain't gonna get out if you don't listen to Rico. Send the water when the sewer's up at the top. Maybe half or 1 inch clear air up on top. Not enough to swim, my friend. But just enough to get air. And you got the right thing. What? A diving rig? Ah, a little piece of rubber pipe that you keep in your mouth. And you stick it up out of the water so you're stuck in the air while you walk through the water. It's over your head. Where do you get the rubber hose? Yeah. See? I got one right here. And I got another one for you. This thing stuck in my mouth. Listen, I raise it high like that. So it sticks up out of the water and I suck up that little inch of air that's waiting up there on top. What street I'll be coming to you. What street? What's that? All I want to know is you're going to break with me down the street tomorrow. Man, you don't know what you're doing for me. Shut your mouth. I do it because I can't lift a heavy stone by myself. But you will lift it. We'll lift it. Okay. Tomorrow, 4 o'clock, we try, huh? 4 o'clock.
Ladies and gentlemen, a deep breath, please, before we go on with the story of vengeance and MacRogan. Yes, and while we do so, girls, is this how you feel these strenuous war days?
No, I'm not going to dance with soldiers. I'm too tired out to enjoy it. And since I've gotten so thin and run down and on edge, nobody wants to dance with me anyway. Well, you don't look so good lately. But listen, you know Sally Gate? Well, she was underweight and weary and jumpy too. And she found out that all she needs was more vitamin D and iron. Vitamin D and iron? I don't understand.
Let me explain, miss. When you don't get enough vitamin D from your food, you may lose your appetite, so you don't eat enough. Then you may lose weight, lose your pep. Or you may not get all the good out of your food. And when you don't get enough iron from what you eat, you may be weak and fail and walk out.
Oh, dear. There's more vitamin D and iron is what I need. I suppose I've got to take some disagreeable medicine. Sally didn't. She took ironized juice tablets. She said they're a taste for things. That's pleasant little tablets. And they should juice up.
And now, back to lights out. This is the day and the time for the two condemned men to make their cry for freedom. Get plenty of exercise, boy. Won't be long now.
Let's go, Willie.
Go.
What's wrong? There's no stool over here. You think they're going to label on it or something? Quit talking. You've got to make that show me for the living. Okay. Keep your hands on.
You just sit on the floor.
Yeah, that's the lid. It's covered with cement just like the floor. What? What the hell did you read? How did you lift it out? Go ahead. Yeah. I got half a little to work. It's cold, too.
Now, show you Rico by telling you for a guy. This little piece of steel cost me plenty. But I got her and she's going to get me right out of here. Now, look. Get the tickle in the crack. And push up. Comes with a little bit. I got it. There. I get you how you done that. Yeah. Okay. Now lift. Lift. You're crushing my fingers. Don't make it off that glass. Don't make it noise. Mother of mercy, my finger. Get that lid off me. I'll get it off. I got you. I got a rope. I got it. I'm gonna help me. I got it up again. Help me lift it. There we go. I'll let it down. Never alone, baby. Let's go. Okay. He's got down this way. I don't know how deep the water is. Go, go.
the seat. Go up to my waist. Which way now? This way. Come on. It's dark. Another way. Yeah. Faster. Move away fast. I can't go too fast. Stay short someplace along here. I might fall in. Well, yeah. Keep going, keep going. It's like I can't see nothing. I'm gonna run. It's moving faster. Yeah, he's right. That means it's short up ahead. Come on. I should not. Don't pipe the head in there. That means we're going right. Oh, I'm not afraid of drowning as I can't drown. I got to kill him first. I can't drown. No. Ah, doesn't matter to you. Come on. Wait a minute. Don't let people ever go through. We're not sure like it's room at the green store and the main store. Give it to me now and put the water separate. You what? What's the matter with you? Tell me what's up. Yeah, why not? I only got one piece of rubber home. Wait till you quit. I stand what is that shoot everything. I got one. Me. And me, you. You help me lift up that bullet. Okay, that's fine. Now, if you want to go out and knock off that guy you always talk about, okay, I ain't stopping you. Take a swim for yourself. Give me that piece of hose instead of that swim while you're still helping that friend. Give me that hose. Stay back from me. Give me that hose. Okay, I'll give you. Oh, the knife out of your ear. Get out. You know. Go on, Rico. Bend it to make sure to hand over. Hand over, Rico, over. Get that head of yours into the water. Break it, Rico. Bring your double strike and run with it, right? All right, Rico. I'll get this kid on the horse. Now you take that swing at you. Gonna give me. No. Mark Street. I'm coming after you. Hey, now, but shut the door. We're closed, see? Fires will strand. 1 o'clock closing hours in this town. So, hey, what's the matter with you? Not. Street. Huh? What's that you said? Mark. Well, Mark Street. Oh, you mean that lanky surfer. I didn't know. Yes, all right. I ain't seen the guy easy. Yeah. But it's easy. Yeah, that's it. I remember hearing a couple of the boys saying he moved in up there. Hey, wait a minute, fella. What, you want to drink? What, you want me to... Yeah, we got a note. Walks right out on it. I wonder what in the... That's a funny thing. It rained around here for a week. And the guy's clothes were soaking wet. All right, I'm sorry. I'll wake the man up in the middle of the night that you're disturbing the peace. Well, what's the matter? Tell me. Tell you what? What's the matter, you drunk? gone. Son, where? Where is he now?
He's down 60 feet in the Rosamond Cemetery. Mark Street. He died last week. Good night.
Mark Street. Died last week. No, Mark Street, you can't treat me that way. There's no penalty. All right, Mark Street. I'm coming out to you. God, just a little minute. Nothing. Yes, yes. Look like. I don't know what you. What street are you with? So brave, white stone, even. You're here, I'll find you. Here, what is it? No. I've got to find you where that street I've got you. Maybe this one. You're right. I found you where the street I found you. Always did I found you. But I must know. I will. I will know. 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 I will. I will know. Oh, I'm telling you, it's my street. Now I'll know. Oh, perfectly well. It is you, must be. Think of me. Oh, no. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe that is right. Maybe the other world, a world dead. Where you are now. I'll go there. I'll go there, I'll get you there. We go cold. Just with my hand, I'll shove it in my heart, and then I'll be just like you. You hear me, Mark Street? It's not like I've been talking to you wherever you are. I'm coming to you. Matt Logan. Coming to you. Matt Logan. Matt. How? When? I don't know. I heard you calling. Matt Logan. Who's you, Marie? I heard you. I can hardly speak. I don't know where I am, but I heard you. Stop. You're with my darling. What? Look. There in front of you. Mark Street. Mark Street at last? No. No, let me go. The dead can't kill the dead. I go. And the knife. The knife you killed her with is in my hands. The knife. At last, Mark Street, I'll give you what you gave her. Once in a place. Twice. A third time. No. Go back to your grave. Mark Street. And I'll go to mine.
It's over. You really think that revenge can go beyond the grave? I like to think that it doesn't.
peaceful rest and peaceful death. Well, I'm interested in next week's story. You go back to California to do that one. What's it going to be about? It's a long postponed tale. I started to do it 3 times in this program, and each time something happened. I'll tell you what those postponed in a few moments. After you finish what you want to tell. Well, briefly, folks, if it's vitamin C and iron shortage that's keeping you thin and weak, tired, washed out, and really only half living, then do try ionized yeast tablets right away. They give you both vitamin D and iron. They cost but a few pennies a day, and they're sold on this no-risk, money-back basis. If you don't quickly begin to eat better, sleep better, feel much stronger and happier, and if you're not convinced that ionized yeast will help you gain just the good pounds you need to look your best, the cost of the first bottle will be refunded to you in full by ionized yeast, Box IY, Raleigh, New Jersey. Just be sure you get the one and only ionized yeast. Always ask for it by its full name, ionized yeast, and look for the big IY on the package and on each sample. And now, what about this postponed story, Mr. Oblick? Well, we all start things we don't finish. Now, before I started a word and started, and didn't finish it. That reminds me of something that you folks may not have finished. I'm referring to the war camp, folks. Ah, don't say what again and turn that guy. You know that boy who used to live up the street from you who's in that flying fortress? You can't turn any dials and get out of there when the shrapnel gets close. You've got to keep on. And so how about you and that war camper? How long since you put another stamp in? You remember 4 25-cent stamps to buy a hand grenade, 15 50-cent stamps buy an anti-tank mine, 6 25-cent stamps or winter comment helmet. Look, your money and war stamps can actually save the life of an American soldier. Here's another way to look at it. War stamps earn an interest. War bonds, on the other hand, too, they pay you back $4.33. So looking at it either way as a dollar investment for your future, or better yet, an investment in a free world, you better put those spare dimes and quarters to work against the axe for victory for you. In the future, well, you'll need a future of a free world. Ladies and gentlemen, tune in next Tuesday again for Art Tobler's eerie story, He Dug It Up. A strange tale inspired by Rivet's pre-war England. And if you need more vitamin C and iron, be sure to try ionized yeast. The one and only ionized yeast with the big letters IY on the package and on each pack. Time waits for no man these days, not even for a man to shave. Speed is mighty important. So why not enjoy the quick, comfortable shave that you get with Mole Brush for Shaving Cream?
During that, not one, but 2 of my cats pooped in this room. I'm going to start keeping a lighter on my desk. Okay, so just so you know, guys, my understanding was that Lights Out was no longer under copyright. But it appears that the situation is a lot more complicated than previously, so I don't know if this is going to stay up. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing these. You know, this is something, I got this from the Free Internet Archive. Kitty, no fighting. Skittles. Skittles. You're being a real bitch today, okay? But, yeah. When I was a child, and by child I believe I mean 5 or 6, you know, my mother used to take these vacations with us. She used to drive from Los Angeles, where we live, to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where her folks lived. Okay? Stop it, Skittles. Don't need your sound effects. Yes, show me your butt. Anyway, so we had this old old Oldsmobile, brown Oldsmobile station wagon, and you know, at the Target by my house, they would sell these sets of cassettes in a box that looked like an old time radio. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember audio cassettes, but that's what we had back then. It was pre CD era. Art is Mr. Fab going to live later? Mr. Fabulous appears on a different channel. So I'm wondering, guys, should I create a Fabulous, like maybe get a puppet or something? Mr. Fabulous, yes. Anyway, so in one of the radio shows that we got tapes of was called Lights Out. And, we would drive across the country listening to these old. My mother loved history. You have to understand, my mother was a lot like me. Okay, she loved history. She loved reading. She loved learning. Vacations for her were an opportunity to expand your mind. That's what she would map out. The reason we would go by car is she would map out a route from Los Angeles to Philadelphia where we would do things like we'd see Civil War reenactments, and we'd go whitewater rafting, and we saw, Mount Rushmore. That was my mother's thing. Is, vacations were an opportunity to expand her children's minds. And I mean, I remember my brother saying, it's like, you should drag me on these terrible trips. And I go, Paul, if we had left you at home, you'd be crying because we left you at home. Your ass cries all the time, no matter what. I have to admit here, I'm feeling the incredible weight of my crappy family. Phil Brochi, your mother sounded like an awesome person. Phil, everybody should naturally love their mother. We're genetically speaking more our mother than we are our father. Okay, we have our mother's mitochondrial DNA, which is not something we can inherit from our father. Now, she was an incredibly active person for having a very short lifespan comparatively. But, she had her demons like every person does. And, when it comes to my mother, I choose to emphasize the good things, whereas the rest of my family chooses to emphasize the bad things. Mike, it seems like there are 71 of these lights out. Have you heard all? There are far more than 71 of the lights out programs. I could not tell you how many I currently have. Okay, so there's 76 files there. Only 4 files there. So, yeah. I mean, no, I haven't heard them all. You know, the cassette tapes weren't that long. In fact, I'd never heard this one before. You know, just went out there looking for something that was interesting to listen to. Again, I don't know if this is going to stay up. The Dark got pulled down. You know, there's not a lot of reason for me to leave something up if it gets copyrighted. For, like, the other live streams, like, okay, you know, somebody copyrights a song I play in the background. I cut that part out. This, pretty much the whole thing is, you know, listening to the thing. Yeah, Mike, I liked this one. Thought it was pretty cool. I mean, look, if I ever got to direct, which is unlikely at this point in my life, listening to radio dramas is important because you should be able to close your eyes and still enjoy a movie. You know, the visual spectacle is somewhat overrated. And somewhere out there, I don't know if he's still alive, but there was a blind movie reviewer who would go out there and he'd listen to movies. That's what he did. And listening to movies, he would then, you know, talk about how those movies impacted him. And, you know, it's a different kind of a dynamic. Mary Mistrada, The Evil Gray Rectangle. Yes. Mike, I agree, but never thought about that. Yeah, well, I mean, thinking about weird things is kind of my thing, isn't it? Looking at things from a new perspective. I don't know. I mean, Mary Mistrada for copyright on stream. Yeah, I kind of got that was. I mean, you know, the company that claimed copyright of The Dark was founded in 72. The Dark was originally aired in 37, I think. And it's like I was going to challenge their claim, except for the fact that one, apparently there's a new federal law that does offer some copyright to old radio broadcasts, and two, what is it? I can actually have my channel deleted if if I submit a claim and it turns out that I was wrong. Yeah, Mio Richard. So I mean, like if you really wanted to protect yourself from that kind of a thing, you know, it's like I really should be uh you know, saving my YouTube videos in sets of 15 because that's the maximum upload number. I should include each one of these episodes or each one of these 15 packs in a file that has a um, master document for their descriptions and so on and so forth. But you know, I mean, it does beg the question at some point, is all that extra work worth it? VM, you got a copyright strike, whatever for. Apparently, a company is claiming that one of the Lights Out episodes that I aired belonged to them, which is unlikely but not impossible. And I mean, I'm not the only one that uploaded this. That's why you heard, well, I mean, you weren't here, but I played rain in the background, and I have my fan going, so I'm adding white noise to try and make it more difficult for copy. It's like if you look at my videos, you notice my green screen isn't perfect. Well, that's because I used to get copyright strikes for movie posters, all right? And I mean, it's under fair use. I'm talking about the movie. I'm technically legally permitted to like put out video clips from the movie and all that, but people don't care. They're out there going, we're trying to get every damn penny out of it, and if we can get your penny, so that's why I don't put those in movie reviews. I think every now and again somebody comes up and says, "Well, why don't you put clips from the movie in there?" It's like, one, because I have to go find the clips, and two, because I keep getting copyright struck for the clips. Yeah, belong to them. How was it a reaction video? No, it was one of these. It was a live stream where I played old time radio. Technically, VM reaction videos are subject to copyright. It's like I stopped doing trailer reactions on this channel because they're subject to copyright. Those trailers are copyrighted materials. And legally speaking, it's like if I showed only 30-second clips of the trailer, if I cut it up into 30-second bits and talked about each bit, it would be legal, but they could still file a claim against it. So it's not worth doing that kind of stuff. I mean, again, guys, understand something about being a YouTube content creator is that a lot of people, they're not here for the long haul. You're novel, you're fun, and then they forget about you. I mean, it's like YouTube really twisted my arm to get me to put up the channel memberships on my other channel. And so I put them up there. And I actually had one person willing to shell out, $1 a month for channel memberships. And I'm sitting there going, should I really be catering to copyright or to channel membership? I don't know if it's worth it. Like, my friend had to pay $100,000 or $100K for copyright stuff. Yeah. What exactly is it that your friend does, Mike? He owned a bar, was streaming PPV. What? That doesn't sound right. I mean, he paid for the damn things, didn't he? Oh, I got it, pay-per-view fights, but I mean, he paid for them. I think there might be like a maximum audience for that, but Artmore, hi VM. I don't know. I actually posted at one point a video of A Trip to the Moon, the original black and white, and somebody said, no, that's ours. And I used their copy, had their website in the beginning, but I didn't use their music. And it's like, you can't claim copyright to that, dumbass, but it just wasn't worth fighting over. Like, yeah, he paid, and I don't know if he was supposed to have a deal where he could have hundreds of people watching. Eh. Oh, I know he got sued, and we quit watching it there. Yeah, it probably wasn't worth it. But I mean, it's like one of the things I've considered doing, Mike, is I've considered going to Halloween attractions and wearing a GoPro. And like, I believe that's illegal or that's against policy at Disneyland. So if I put that up on YouTube, Disneyland could say no, take that down. So if I do that, one of the things I would have to do is um, talk to the people beforehand, and that's part of the deal I would have to strike with them and be like, hey, how does this work? Are you gonna bitch about me, being on? Because it's like when I was a kid, Knott's Berry Farm, which is a amusement park we have out here. It used to have an attraction called Kingdom of the Dinosaurs, and it was my favorite ride there. And from what I understand, Kingdom of the Dinosaurs is no longer around. And I believe people have actually filmed being on Kingdom of the Dinosaurs, so the ride itself has not been completely lost. But that's one of the things I wouldn't mind doing is collecting, ride throughs. But, I don't know. I don't know what the legality of that is. So if I were if I were to do that, I would have to speak to management and be like, okay, is this something? If you don't want me to do it, I'm not doing it. I mean, there was actually a case where a neighborhood kid decided to put on a play for Charlie Brown. I think it was an original script, but I don't know. And he got a bunch of his friends together and they played different characters from Charlie Brown. And, I think it was Disney came out and sued them and said, no, you can't do that. So copyright can really be a pain in the neck. Just like squeezing money out of art. I think it was VM. You're the one that knows Mark Schaefer, right? Assuming you're even still watching at this point. It's like Mark. If you look at all the people he knows artistically, they put movies together every now and again. The movies suck, but they do put them together. But it's like they're not really worth pursuing because they're not very good. And then It's distributing them properly is kind of the problem. Like they used to, I wrote a film. I've mentioned this before on live streams. I wrote a film with this guy named Josh, and I kept telling him, like, you need to do this, and he's like, I'm gonna produce it myself, and it's like, dude, you little crybaby. It doesn't matter if you're gonna produce it yourself. Who's gonna distribute it? You produce it yourself. You have to write things that make other people happy, not just write for yourself. And eventually, I stopped being friends with that guy because he was too selfish. I don't know. Okay, we're down to 7 people now. All right. You guys want me to keep talking? Say something. Philip Rochi, knockers. That's something, okay. We're almost at the hour anyway. Okay, Mike, what's your question? Do you have to pay a good fee to copyright if you did your own movie? Um, Technically, Mike, if you make your own movie, it is still protected under copyright law. All right. Having it properly registered, there is a fee. Okay, when Josh had a copy of Alice registered, he paid a fee. And it was dumb because it's like no one is going to steal this crap, but he wanted to make sure. And I mean, yeah, doing it right. Like, for example, I've been talking about lately self-publishing an anthology of the plays I wrote in college, and it's like, yes, to get a Congress catalog number, there's a fee. Okay, and the plays are still under copyright, whether I do that or not. But the fee makes it more legitimate and easier to stand up in court. Philip Hirochi, do people take copyright too seriously, or are they just protecting their assets? Um, well, you know, I had a copyright strike because I put a clip from Jaws in a video about Jaws. So yes, people take it too seriously, but I don't think that's why they're taking it seriously. I think they're just trying to make more money. Which I mean I understand, but it's like I used to play. I don't know if you were around for that, but I used to play old movies in the background on silent, and I eventually got a copyright strike for Robot Monster, and it was like, you know, who is going to watch Robot Monster without sound in the background of one of my videos? I mean, somebody had to see that and think, no, that's my content. It's like, that's dumb. Mike, so what amount of money would you have to make to get money back he put into it? Does you turn a profit. Okay, I'm not really sure what you're referring to at that point, Mike. Well, Birchie, geez, people can be tools. Yeah. I mean, understand this much. The script that I'm talking about, which was originally entitled Schrodinger's Alice, like, had we sold that script, I would have been paid $100,000 for it. And it was less than $100 to create the copyright, all right? But we did not sell that script because it was crap. And it's like I say, if you know somebody who wants to make a movie, I could write them a movie, okay? I can write them a movie to specifications, whatever they are. I could write any kind of movie you want to. I'm a talented and quick writer, but the problem is finding somebody who wants a movie. Like what amount would Josh have to make off film to get his money back? And does the money come in pretty fast after it starts selling? Um, Again, the problem with Josh is that he had no ability to distribute. Films can languish for years. Like, I used to know a girl. I don't know if I consider her someone I know now. She was in a film called Saltwater. Okay? And I could not get a copy of Saltwater. Right? There's a website for it. I think I emailed them. They haven't answered me. And it's just, the film has never been distributed, so it never made money. And it's like, yes, you could go to film festivals, pay a lot of money, and get nothing back. Films are very questionable investments if you don't know the right people. But, again, with Josh, the original idea was that he was going through a Hollywood agent. So the investment was minimal, less than $100 at the time. This was more than 20 years or 15 years ago, I guess. Yeah. And, he would have been paid if he had sold the film. He would have been, thank you, Mary. He would have been paid more than $100,000 for it. You're typically, as an author, I think you're paid like 10% of the overall budget. So, if you write a Marvel movie, it's $100 million film, you get $1 million. Right. So you make your money back. But Valentine. So, yeah, if you're in the Hollywood machine, it doesn't matter if you write a turkey or not, you're going to get paid for it. The problem there being is it's like, as I say, Mark, who I used to work with, he's made a bunch of films, and they've all been terrible losses. He never made money because he doesn't have the distribution. You can't go on Amazon and look up his films. They're not there. Okay, they are on IMDb, but in order for you to buy a copy of one of his films, you have to buy it on eBay. All right? And, let's be dead honest here. Who's going to pay $15 for an amateur movie? Because that's what they are. I mean, I don't know how amateur they really are. Dude, spent $30,000 on them, and he actually hired Ron Jeremy to be in one of his films. But I mean, what you're going for with amateur filmmaking, with these backyard films, is either you're making the film for the sake of making the film, all right? Or you're making a film so good that other people see that film and say, I want to hire that man to make films. It's like I was involved in a production called Angel's Bounty, which followed a bounty hunter named Angel hunting down the man that killed her father. All right? And it was the stupidest thing I had ever seen. This guy was from Washington State. He came down to Hollywood to become a filmmaker. And he wound up driving back to Washington State in order to make that movie, because he says, well, look, in Washington State, people are perfectly happy just to let you film on their property, to say they filmed something on your property. You know. And I've even speculated, like, maybe I should try to film something on the property I work at, because there's a lot of time that I'm there alone. I could literally, just talk to the boss, be like, hey, would you mind if I showed up at 3 o'clock in the morning and film a few things? And he would probably be like, oh yeah, sure, don't mind us, And it's like, if I had full run of the building, which I don't, but if I had full run of the building, I'm sure I could come up with something worthwhile for 2 hours. And even better if I could get my friends together. Uh, we could do those sorts of things. But how would I distribute it? I mean, I would have to be making this for the sheer joy of doing so, and it's like, what's the point? I mean, investing in the arts is really difficult. I remember I wrote a script in college called Walker in the Trees. Phil Brochi, Clover update. He's still crazy. Every day he tells me he's going to get a plumber. Anyway, so I wrote Walker in the Trees. And every person that's read Walker in the Trees has said, wow, this is awesome. But I can't get anybody who matters to read it. So I actually rewrote Walker in the Trees as a novel. And I don't have any feedback on it because I can't get anybody to read the damn thing. And people are saying, why don't you self-publish? And the answer to why don't I self-publish is, well, I mean, I suffer from dyslexia, and I have nobody to edit my work. So I would, spend $1,000 to get somebody to edit my work, and then who the hell would buy it? Like, what's the longest you worked on one film? Like, how many days from start of project to last day of filming? Well, that's a tough question. If you saw, I know I sent you a link to New Child of Mine. The original script I wrote in an afternoon, and I sent it to the director, and he absolutely loved it, but he wanted it to be longer. So it was several weeks of rewriting before he received a script that he felt was acceptable. And then I think there was a total of 12 hours of actual filming before we had New Child of Mine in the can, so to speak. Clark Graham, padding a script. Hi. Clark, I mean, padding a script refers to adding superfluous material that lengthens a script but otherwise does not contribute to the story. Okay, padding versus world building. World building, everything you put on there should give you more information about the world of the script and also be interesting. Well, Brochi, I want to go back to the 90s. Don't we all? Clark Graham, yes, love world building. Are you an author, or Clark, or are you just great answer? Okay, you're new, so I have what's called a scientific analytic mind, and I know a lot about random topics. So, I mean, people do ask me obscure questions, and I can't answer them, but I mean, I could write books about writing. I really could. The reason I have this channel, this particular channel anyway. Clark Graham, I'm an author published in poetry. Okay, cool. Um, my email is richardlelandneal@gmail.com. If you want me to read any of your poetry on, I have a channel where I have done that. You know, you could always send me some. If you have a book on Amazon, I will add it to my Amazon wish list. That's a thing I should probably mention to you guys. If you look at my Amazon wish list, some of the books on there are from people I know, or friends of mine, or authors who are friends of mine. VM, if you were to write a story set in the past, which era time period? Um, to be dead honest with you, VM, the question would be, what do you want written? You know, I could do research and write a story from any time period, given the proper motivation. Clark Graham, I've recently been trying to get into horror thriller. Okay, well, I guess you came to the right place. Phil Brochi, author sounds like a cool profession, but I wonder if people get burnt out a lot when trying to come up with new material. Um, Phil, everybody's different in that regard. Stephen King, for example, he considers 50% of the work he does reading material from other authors. So, you know, if you keep reading material, you would always have something new to write about. Clark, have you ever played Monkey Paw? No, I have not. Mike, Clark, did you write a science fiction book? Clark, you gonna answer there? I did about alternate history. Okay. Yeah, I've never actually read alternate history, but I just picked up a copy of The Last Republic by Ryan Macbeth, which is his second novel. which is alternate history. VM, what genres do you typically write about, Neil? I'm mostly a science fiction horror type of guy. But I mean, I wrote a romantic comedy once. It was called Never Will. Phil Brochi, are there any techniques that authors use to generate ideas for stories? Yeah, Philip, there are actually, I mean, there's actually a company that produces what they call the story engine. And, you know, there's, there are like really analog methodologies of generating story. You know, but it's like there's only like seven plots they say, you know, it's like man versus man, man versus nature, man versus animal, man versus himself. I forget what they are, but I mean, like I said, I have an entire huge shelf of books on writing. Getting to reading them all is going to be hard. Clark Graham, I'm for it. What is it? VM, Philip Rochi, when I was into writing, I usually had a base idea and then watched and read media of the topic. Yeah. Well, Rochi, that's cool, VM. It's like this, Phil. I actually have two comic book universe concepts that I play around with, and essentially they're basically alternate versions of Marvel and DC. Okay? That would be AC Actual Comics and Arrival. And one of them is based on the Tunguska event. It was that big explosion in Siberia. Only in that version, the explosion was an alien spaceship that broke apart. And the reason that they're, you know, comic book superheroes is because parts of this spaceship, you know, have different technology that people incorporate. And then AC could also be described as the Slip universe. And the Slip is a universe without time. So there are portals from our universe to that universe. So there are characters that are driven by beings of that universe. But it's like if you go to the Slip, there's no time. So you might wind up fighting a character 20 years before you fought him the last. You could encounter the child, the adult, and the old man. Philip, I attempted to write a story once but stopped. It was about a story of pirates, ships battling each other in space. Hmm. Sounds cool. Mary Miss Rhoda, sometimes writing prompts helped me when I was stuck. Yeah, I mean, somewhere on my Amazon wish list, I've got like 1,000 writing prompts. Clark Graham, Monkey's Paw is a game where one player makes a wish and player two plays the genre and twists the wish to player one regrets the wish. I feel it is a good tool to overcome writer's block. Clark, writer's block is an illusion. Okay, there's no such thing as writer's block. Okay, you have a I'm not feeling it moment, but you always have something to work on. VM, would you ever consider writing an autobiographical novel of your life and experiences, Neil? Maybe a placeholder named instead of people from real life. It's called Letters to Cassie and Other Folks. It's a blog. Loprochi, what's the most successful book weaver? Ever? A Tale of Two Cities, I think. Oh, they're still saying it's the Bible. Okay, list of best-selling individual books. A Tale of Two Cities with more than 2 million copies. The Little Prince, 2 million copies directly. The Alchemists, 150 million copies. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, 120 million copies. And then there were none, 100 million copies. Dream of the Red Chamber, 100 million copies. The Hobbit, 100 million copies. Alice Adventures in Wonderland, 100 million copies. Bestsellers, 50 million to 100 million copies. She, A History of Adventure, 83 million. The Da Vinci Code at 80 million. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, 77 million. Catcher in the Rye, 65 million. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, 65 million. Harry Potter, Harry Potter, Harry Potter. I'll skip a few. Bridges of Madison County, 60 million copies. 100 Years of Solitude, 50 million copies. Lolita, 50 million copies. Heidi, 50 million copies. Common Sense Book of Baby and Child Care, 50 million copies. Anna of Green Gables, 50 million copies. Black Beauty, 50 million copies. Name of the Rose, 50 million copies. The Eagle Has Landed, 50 million copies. Watership Down, 50 million copies. The Hit Report, 50 million copies. Charlotte's Web, 50 million copies. The Ginger Man, 50 million. The Purpose Dream Life, 50 million copies. I haven't even heard of most of these. Oh. Yeah, and I'll check. And I'll check out Letters to Cassie, Neil. Phil Brochi, the Bible. I was thinking Harry Potter. Yeah, I guess Harry Potter would be. Well, I mean, A Tale of Two Cities is the most successful novel in history. Harry Potter franchise is probably the best-selling franchise. Yeah, HP was my second guess. Clark Graham, Alchemic Realm. It's not a list. Mike, I would have thought Gary Paulson's book would have been one. VM, maybe Harry Potter, like children, young adult series should be your next project, Neil. Again, dude, I have so many projects going, I couldn't even tell you. Will Brochi, most successful author of all time, J.K. Rowling. Yeah. I mean, book per book, J.K. Rowling. Clark Graham, someone triggered his tism. Yeah, I think so, Phil. All 7 books were massive sales. Yes, all 7 books are on the 50 million and above lift. Clark Graham, great back to what you love. Mike, Philip, maybe Dr. Seuss. Clark Graham, it's not Phil Brochi. Oh, that's right, Mike. Mark Twain, Huckleberry Finn, 1985, of Mice and Men. Clark, My Side of the Mountain, Gary Polson. Okay, guys, so again, I normally only do these if I'm past an hour if I'm making money. And we are at an hour and 20 minutes, and I have made no money. So, well, Rochi, what was Mice and Men about? It was about a man taking care of his mentally ill brother. So, I'm going to go. I will see you all later. I'm Richard.